Hey YouTube, this is Don. Today I'm gonna review a console that that is not often mentioned about and might have considered be soon to be forgotten. And it's pretty much one of those questionable consoles. It's called the RCA Studio 2, as it says on the console. So what is this thing? Well, it's not a Pong console because it uses cartridges, which I'll talk about those in just a moment. It was released in 1977, months before, in September, the Atari 2600 hit the market. And basically 1978, before the video game crash, this console was immediately discontinued, and by 1985 they pulled the rest of them out of the market. It's made by the famous company RCA, who's probably well known for those stereo cables or something. So eventually I don't know the story in general or how the story played out, but supposedly they were trying to make a console to compete with the Atari 2600, or at least be the first console to make cartridges, but the Fairchild Channel F came out in 1976 before this console, and was able to compete with this console because it's like beat this console because it had color graphics. And that's one of the reasons why it didn't sell well, because it uses the same black and white graphics as those Pong consoles back in the mid-70s. Even though it is a cartridge-based game where it has multi-carts, where it has different games built in, it basically uses those kind of graphics that are recycled from the Pong consoles. That was bad move number one. Now, the game console does have some educational games. Even has games built in the console, which I'll talk about in just a moment. You got now. Here's the controllers. They're not external. It doesn't have any external controllers, unlike the 2600 or the Fairchild Channel F. Instead, it has those keypads, which means two players will have to huddle around and use the keypads. Whatever happened to the RCA Studio 1, I may never know. It says Home TV Programmer. Now, the form factor looks incredibly retro otherwise. It's got that 1970s feel, just like you would see on an old-fashioned car. It's got the details, kind of like a car, with this whatever this feels like. It's metal, and it's also got that red light indicator indicating if the console's turned on. The 2600 lacks that light, which this thing is a good idea. So you'll know if the console's turned on or not. Here's controller B, which contains the same keypads, by the way. It's got the clear button to reset the console. This is your reset. So the clear button acts more like a reset button to refresh the console, and exits the game that you're done playing, so you can select another one. So basically, now when it comes to the controllers, if you press a certain combination of keys depending on which game you plan on playing, you have to press a certain combination of buttons, whether it's the keypad B or keypad A, which is controller B or A. You have to press certain buttons to activate a certain game on this console. Unlike the 2600, where you can manually select the game with the game selector button or switch. Just manually select your game according to what the manual says But with this console, the instructions are absolutely imperative. Because without this thing, you wouldn't know what kind of combination of buttons you need to press in order to activate a particular game you want to play on this thing. Whether it's the built-in games or on the cartridge. And here's the cartridge port. Now this console doesn't have a dust cover, unfortunately, but it does have these metal poles between the cartridge port to help stabilize the cartridge to prevent it from breaking, to prevent the pins from breaking. Like the cartridge pin, just to prevent the cartridge chip from breaking, which might be rightly so. But I usually, since I have this system, I usually use the cartridges to cover the dust cover, to use it as a dust cover to protect the port from dust, which might be the right thing to do to maintain the cartridge port. Which the lack of a door on the cartridge port might be somewhat common at the time for particular consoles, with the exception of the ColecoVision or the Fairchild Channel F. Now on the back, there's nothing exciting on the front or the sides, but on the back it's got one cord, which is ridiculously long. And you're wondering, where does the AC adapter go? Here's the connector, but where's the AC adapter? Well, this is where the TV game switch box and AC adapter comes in. Rather than having two separate wires, just like any typical game console would have, this thing, instead of using this to plug it directly into the TV by using a particular coaxial adapter, instead you have to this is getting awkward. Hold on, let me find it. I'll be back. I'm back. Sorry for that. Anyway, this is the TV game switch box for this console. Now, there's no on-off switch on this console, but instead the console switches on and off via the switch box. If you switch it on TV, it turns off automatically. But if you switch it to the Studio 2 on the switch box, it automatically turns it on. Now, this switch box is kind of weird looking. It's got a screw on here. It's got these two screws, like any console at that era, of that time period, to hook it up to an antenna when you're hooking it up to a TV from like the late 70s. And here's the forks that screw into the TV. Now the reason I'm keeping this box is this is where the AC adapter port is, rather than putting it on the console like conveniently, like any typical console would. They thought it would be convenient to have this on the switch box and have less wires like running across your floor. But they figured they screwed up. Here's the console's video connector right here. Hold on. I'll show you how it plugs in as soon as I grab the cord. Plugs in like so. Anyway, here's the coaxial adapter. Now with this console, you're forced to use this switch box, unfortunately, and you're forced to use the box every time you want to use this console. And to make things worse, it has to be this kind of box. Otherwise, if you don't have this and you have the console, you can't play the system. So you can't play the system without this. Anyway, now this coaxial adapter allows me to use this on a modern TV as an option. This is a secondary option for many Pong consoles or consoles of that time period, like the 2600. But instead of this not being your only option, this is your only option. Otherwise, these are what the forks, this is what the connectors look like, and this is what this thing's like, and it's not compatible with TVs today. Not even HD TVs that we have today. Anyway, now, so when it comes to this thing, that was bad move number 2. Now, here's the AC adapter. I was able to finally get a dedicated RCA Studio 2 AC adapter. It says right here, RCA Corporation, Deptford, New Jersey. NJ, which I'm assuming means New Jersey. This might have been manufactured in New Jersey at the time, in the video game industry, where consoles used to be made in the US. Which is common for that time, but it's uncommon in today's standards. Anyway, now in order to plug this into the wall, like in order to use this AC adapter, you have to use this. In order to power this console, you need this kind of pin for an AC adapter, like this, or at least something from the same time period. Now, with that out of the way, there's a surprise underneath the console. Now, here's the channel select 2 and 3, and the sound on off switch. Now these switches are unreachable for unknown reason. I don't know why they made a complicated reach, but you need some kind of sticker or something to reach in those, because this is kind of inconvenient. But what is convenient, that you can turn off the sound in case you I don't know, in case you're playing it in the same room where the person's sleeping, I guess. I don't know. And it's got the serial number right here. This one looks like it's been made in 1976, as you can see. This might be the first model to be made. And you're wondering, does it work? Yes, it does. Oh, it's also got these tan looking rubber feet. Now it's time to show the games. Oh, hold on a sec. I think I forgot something again. Please stand by. Alright guys, here's the games. They come in these boxes. We got baseball, blackjack, gunfighters, moonship battle, and tennis and squash, which this game plays like Pong, which I'll probably talk about on another review of this game alone. Now, these are the games I own, but there might be some more. They're probably rare now these days because of the fact that this system didn't sell well at the time. And if you're watching this, Mom and Dad, don't start commenting on my channel saying that, oh, that's because this console's old. No, that's not the case. The reason this console didn't sell well is because of poor decisions that didn't play out that good with the console. But anyway, enough about them. Enough about this thing. Let's just look at the manual. Here's the manual I got. And I gotta say, these instructions are absolutely imperative. Because without it, you wouldn't know the right combination to know the right combination of buttons you need to press in order to activate the games to program the games in the console so I can play which games you want to play. Shows what the thing can do. Shows you how to hook up to the TV. Oh, here's the built-in games. It's got Doodle, which is like a drawing application or game. It's got Patterns, Bowling, which is probably one of my favorite games for this console because I grew up with bowling. Freeway, which is like a racing game, and Edition, which is like an educational game. Let me count the games. So basically it has 1, 2, 3, 4. So it basically has 5 built-in games according to this manual. Now that I showed off all the hardware, I'm gonna pop to the next scene. I'm just gonna go to the next scene I'm just gonna show you the next scene where I show up what this console can do. So, let's get started. Alright, I have the thing all hooked up and ready to go. You wondering, does this thing work? I forgot to ask. Yes, it does. Now, we're gonna try Doodle. Now, to do Doodle, I have to press key 1 on keyboard A as the instruction says. And most of the controls are on the keypads on keyboard A as the instructions on keyboard B, I mean. And it makes these sounds. I don't know why. Sorry for interference, but it shouldn't be noticeable. Yeah. This is an upside down triangle, or a diamond as you like to call it. Makes those sounds as you. It's a sand time. And to erase, you press 0 and it erases the thing. Now this dot right here is a cursor, the one I'm moving, where it draws. Now Doodle is like an early form of it's probably the most interesting program on the RCA Studio 2. It's like an early form of Microsoft Paint, but in monochrome. So it doesn't make it all that exciting compared to getting a $2 coloring book. What do you think parents do? Well, they obviously went for the coloring book. So anyway, enough about that program. Let's do patterns. Press 2 on keyboard A. Oh, this is the same as Doodle, except you draw a pattern. Yeah, it makes the sound as you doodle around. It says here, press 5 to freeze the pattern, and then key 0 starts the pattern. Yeah, you can see that it's drawing my pattern over and over. So yeah, I'll pass. Next game. Two players, both keyboards. Bowling. This is a 2-player game, unfortunately, so you need a friend. Player A and player B, which today's standards, player A would be player 1, while player B would be player 2. Now, to start this game, you have to press key 3. I guess, let's see, key 5 straight makes the ball go straight, while key 8 hook down, while key 2 hooks up. I guess I'll go straight. Knocks down the pins. This plays different from your average bowling game. Sorry, I might have got a splinter. But never mind that. Anyway. Let's try this. Miss. That's a gutter. I got 4 points. Now, since I don't have a friend, I should be able to do this 2-player thing by myself. So, let's try this. Now, the ball moves back and forth. And so you gotta be precise with this game. So overall, you have to be precise with this game. So you basically pass this console to the second player. Oh, miss again. Anyway, I think I did enough of this. Next game. Freeway, 1 or more players one at a time. Keyboard B. It says here you're racing in a timed 2-minute run. It's you against the clock, but you must steer your car to avoid collisions with opposing car controlled by the computer. Accidents it slow you down and lower your score. It's a fast, thrilling test of your reaction time and coordination. Okay, that was a mouthful. It says here to press keyboard 4. Key 4 on the keyboard A. Now you need keyboard B to steer. Well, keyboard A increases speed or return to normal speed. You press 0 on keyboard 0 to start the car. And it makes that sound. So, this is like a driving simulator game, I gotta say. Now, honestly, it doesn't show the score, surprisingly. Now I see why they had this as in the settings, because the sound doesn't come from the TV speaker. Instead, it comes from the speaker from the console itself. I guess you could say it's similar to the Wii Remote, how certain sound effects come out of it. Yeah, I'll pass. Reset. Edition. This is a 1 or 2 player game. Use either or both keyboards. This, I think it plays like a math game. So, let's begin. Now, this is the score. It says what's going on? Sorry, the must be flashing. I don't know what to do here. This game is pretty tricky. Under 150, use a calculator. Yeah, this game. I don't think I would recommend this game. I don't know. And it makes those beeping sounds, but nothing's really happening. this game doesn't interest me. The only 2 games overall... Oh, it's from the TV Schoolhouse series. Test your level of knowledge in maths, social sciences, literature, and other areas of interest. Handy instruction manual included. And more on the way. That was a mouthful. Yeah, here's the instructions of what they have to say. You can pause the video to read it. So yeah, in conclusion, the only 2 games I would recommend definitely playing with the console if you don't have any games for this console is the bowling game and the racing game. I much prefer those games in my opinion. But if you like, you can share your thoughts about the 3 other games. Be sure to share your thoughts about these games in the comments for this console. But in conclusion, this console may not be a console that I would recommend going out and buying, especially now these days when it's hard to come by. Because like I said, this console didn't sell well, so now these days it's hard to come by. So you're going to have to look hard to make sure you find one that guarantees to work. That is a guarantee to work. Otherwise, if you don't care for this console and you don't want to go through all that trouble for this console, nothing to see here. But other than the games, this thing looks incredibly retro. It just looks so attractive. It's got that 1970s feel to it. So yeah, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and be sure to like the video. Oh, and also hit the notification bell. Sorry I haven't been making any videos in a while. I guess it's because I just want to pay attention to YouTube's policies. Whereas this is not inappropriate, but other videos may contain violent content that may not be suitable for younger audiences, so I'm gonna ensure until I am able to upload video game reviews of violent games such as Zombie Army Trilogy, I'll have to, leave a warning. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'll have to leave a warning about the game being not suitable, about the review not being suitable for younger audiences. So yeah, like I said, enough about the policies explanation. But I'm just warning you that the next video that I upload, if it's a violent video game, I'm gonna leave a warning that if there's a game that I'm reviewing that has to be violent, I have to give the viewers what they wanted, but I have to leave a warning. What am I talking about? But anyway, subscribe if you're... Enough about that. Like I said, subscribe, like, comment, and hit the notification bell if you want to get notified of what videos are coming up next. I'll see you in the next video. This is me, as usual, signing off.